How you doing? Pat, Pitboss from Nemesis Athletics right here. We're going to do another product review, this time of a paddle sap from Green Man Leather Maker in Ontario, Canada. It's a handmade sap, and we're going to put it through some paces, maybe do some sparring applications and see what this little boy can do. Hello everybody, this is Pat from Nemesis Athletics. We're doing a review today of the paddle sap in the small size, put out by Green Man Leather Maker in Ontario, Canada. It's called a paddle sap, or as my daughter likes to call it, the beaver tail style. She thinks it reminds her of a beaver tail. This is a handmade piece done by Steven from Green Man Leather. It's got a chunk of, quite sure the diameter of metal, sewn inside a custom-made and custom-encased leather encasing. So basically what a sap is for is this is able to fit in your pocket pretty smoothly, pretty slimly, and deploy it in the case of a self-defense application. Anybody who knows me, again, they know that I do support using small impact tools as opposed to any edge tools in the event that you need to defend yourself. The same way you shouldn't have to stab somebody who tries to steal your wallet. I think somebody comes up and they want to start some problems. You can slip this out of your pack. Boom. You can give them a wallop with the wide end, and that'll smarten them up at least a little bit. These are actually intended, because of their shape, to be hit paddle-wise. While you read interviews with the old school beat cops, and they say if you want to break people's bones, you hit them edgewise. Now, in my opinion, Steven makes it clear that the warranty on these items, if you hit it edgewise or practice with it edgewise, is not guaranteed. You're not going to, if you split the stitching, he's not going to replace it just because you're smacking stuff on the edge. My opinion on that is that if you need this to defend yourself, well, hit however you hit. If it hits with the edge or with the flat, you spent X amount of money on a sap, but it's done its job. It's kept you safe. Unless you're making a hobby of walking around smacking people with your paddle sap, then I don't really think you need to worry too much. However, if you are going to practice with this, I recommend making a template, tracing it out on either cardboard or scrap leather or maybe foam rubber, like padded mats, and coming up with a couple templates like I did. These are actually scrap leather here that I use. I do a little bit of leather work myself. So I carved these out of the scrap leather, and then you can actually practice with impact, full impact, on friends and family and sparring partners, and not have to worry about seriously damaging anybody. And we're going to actually be playing with this a little bit tonight, and we're going to be doing some sparring situations with these improvised, or actually the little leather the practice saps, and see if what we can come up with for some applications with the paddle sap. This is the smaller version of the two he makes. He does a smaller one and a large one. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing the larger one actually, because I really like how this one fits in the palm of my hand. And like I was mentioning, holding it like this, you might have to hit on the side, which I'm not a biggest fan. So I generally recommend holding it with, with 3 fingers here, 2 fingers here, or my favorite is just securing it with the pinky and holding it like this. You have a fair amount of leeway. This isn't a spring-loaded blackjack, like some saps are made with a spring or even a loose one with the shot inside it. This is a solid piece of metal. So having a little bit of give carries that weight through as opposed to bouncing off. So I like holding it like this because you do have a little bit of play there. You can swing it and you will probably hit on the widest area, like a paddle, which is how it's intended to be used, because then it disperses the energy. What you're also going to notice about a paddle sap, especially with the finger, or the 2-finger secure grip, or 2-finger. I prefer to hold it like this, although you might run the risk of breaking in this, or breaking that stitching. But the 2-finger grip, or as I prefer, the single-finger grip, is you do have a fair amount of give when you swing, but you've got that secure footing there, or an anchor there. So you can swing full bore, and this will not fly out of your hands because of that. Obviously, if you hold this with your full hand, it doesn't give you a lot of impact area. When you slide it down to a pinky grip, and you hold that way. Your thumb is on the back. When you make that contact, boom, it's going to be there. So I generally recommend the pinky grip, as well as you can slide this in your pocket. Put your pinky in there and slide it directly out. Put your pinky in here and flip it over again. Put your pinky in there in the pocket, flip it over, and you've got your paddle sap. Okay, so that's one element about the lanyard handle and the pinky grip that I prefer. Everybody's going to have their own way. Some guys like that, you know, they prefer that. It looks more badass, but realistically, I like that. Boom. And you can swing that full bore and it's not going to go flying out of your hands at all. And you don't really need to worry about it hitting on the edge. This is custom made for me, so I actually requested from Steven the red stitching. He did the brown leather with the red stitching. You're going to see that he also put in a protector night in here. That's all custom done. He does all the custom leather work himself at Green Man Leather. He'll basically take custom orders, custom sizes. Take a look at the video on some of our applications and some of the different uses of the sap, and we'll come back with a little bit more reviews. So in the Nemesis Athletics Pintado stick boxing program, we do have a very simple template for people to use when it comes to using impact tools. Also edge tools, but for the case of this video, we're going to be doing a little overview of the impact tool, being the paddle sap. So I'm going to go with the pinky securing grip here, and we're going to go over the first, the 8 targeting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over top and up. Okay, so basically that's 8 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And what that's going to do is cover the basic angles that we're going to be using to keep ourselves safe in the event of an attack. So the basic 8-point template is used regardless of the tool that you're using in the Nemesis program. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here demonstrated with an impact karambit. You can also use this with something like, this is a cold steel version of the Dulo palm tool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. You can use it with a bludgeon, like a traditional small bat, small club, bottle in an improvised weapon situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or, in the example that we're using for this specific video, the paddle slap, or the paddle sap, that we're going to be doing some sparring applications with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if you, once again, remember the combinations, we've got an overhead figure 8, uppercut figure 8, side to side, forehand diagonal, uppercut diagonal, and up and down, or down and up. Alright, so we're going to be doing that right away, doing some sparring applications with the templates we did, and we'll go from there. Also, from here with the Western boxing stance, with the sap in my right hand, I can be like this, and punches in. But it won't fall out of your hand because you have that lanyard around your pinky. So here, bang, right on there. Now, this is stinging him and it's just loose leather. It'll break his knuckles if it's a live sap. If he jabs, same deal. You'll notice Colby's keeping a good distance. Jeff would have to close in through that sap in order to get a landing blow. So distance is key when it comes to using a device, a small impact device like a sap.
Distance is important. Staying outside of his range so he can't punch me. Boom. You don't want to be here, you want to be here. If he kicks in, same deal. Staying out of range, weapon side forward, or entering in, jamming it, and doing the same deal. Right to the bridge of the nose. So a combination, overhand figure 8, uppercut figure 8, side to side, downward and upward. So, down, up, down and up, down and up. And this is just a leather slap. It's just a leather template. It's flexible. It's not the live sap. Of course, you're going to notice that he stays out of distance. He doesn't want to let me get this close to him. If I'm here, he takes a step back just to get that stop hit range, alright? So, bang, 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 bang. This also works if a guy's grabbing towards you. There you go, right on the fingers. Alright? Again, if I go to kick, bang, catches, gives her on the knee. The metal in the sap is going to really introduce some impact to that kneecap. It's not a good thing. Like I said, bang, got this, jab. Okay? He grabs me with one hand, with his right hand. Bang, right? You can catch him on the wrist. You're number one. And the side shot, right? One side. Pop. You can come with grab with the left. Bang, bang, right? Across. So you're coming, elbow, wrist. In the Filipino arts have got a maxim. Wood seeks bone, steel seeks flesh. In this case, it's sap seeks bone because it's doing damage to any bony part. So we're not aiming for the forearm and the tricep. We're aiming for the wrist and the elbow. This is a bit more of an advanced technique. If somebody were to come in, this is more a little more closer to traditional Filipino arts. If he's going to grab me like this, and then you come up in here. If that hand's already up there, right? You're hitting through the elbow here, pushing the hand out of the way, and then into the wrist. If it wasn't there, it's obviously up into the jaw, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, let's say he's grabbing in here. Our 1 into our 2. 1 into 2 into the wrist, into there. 1 out of the way into 2. Upper hand diagonal, down in. Diagonal, down in. Obviously, side to side. Side to side. Work. If he kicks, upper cut diagonal as a catch into the wrist. Right? Coming with the cross. He doesn't want to eat it, just the leather one.
You hit on the edge here, it concentrates the energy. It's like the bed of nails theory, where you hit with one nail, it's going to go through. You hit with a bed, or you can lay on a bed, and it's not going to cause the same amount of damage. As an illustration, I brought out an old potato. Hopefully, like this isn't going to cause too much of a mess. But on an edge situation, you see, it creates almost a cut, and you don't really want that. You want, and that's just like a light tap. There you go. That's not going to break the skin. While this, so once again, like a nice little swat on this, it will do that, right? Again, you know, breaking that open. So these are functional self-defense tools. I don't want to practice hitting it on the side because, you know, it might damage it, but hitting on the side gives a cut motion, or a cut kind of deal, while hitting it like it's properly used, it disperses that energy, and you don't have to worry about breaking the skin. So that's a few different angles that you can work if you're working with your basic edge tools. All of these are extrapolated from the Filipino arts, at least that's how I've learned them, and then adjusted to work with traditional American martial arts. So with palm sap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.